So, a really important video today on a topic that is massive and one that is getting out of control and that people don't really have a full grasp of is false allegations, and why nowadays it seems that it is guilty until proven innocent, particularly when it comes to men. So, what I'd like to do is kind of go into this topic, talk about some of the consequences of it, statistics around it, reasons behind it, and just give a good overview of false allegations, the kind of ongoing crisis that's happening nowadays with this. But if you do want to have more understanding of this, I've written a book on the topic called Nothing But the Truth, the false allegation crisis crippling men today, and I'll put the link for that in the video description. So read that if you want. That'll give you a much better understanding. But today what we'll do is we will cover some kind of key areas of false allegations. Please can I ask that you like the video and subscribe to the channel. It just helps this information get out there to more people who are looking for it, more people who need it. And this is something we really, really, really need to spread the word about. Okay, right, let's get going. So let's talk about the consequences of false allegations. So we'll kind of touch on a couple of areas. Again, I'm not going to go into all the detail this deserves. There's loads more material. Read the book, check out my website. There's plenty of other stuff online you can find as well. But what I do want to do is just talk around kind of key areas. So let's talk around reputational harm. So as soon as a false allegation is made or an allegation is made against you, it destroys your personal reputation. It destroys your professional reputation. People, it doesn't need to be true and it doesn't need to be entirely accurate for it to destroy your reputation. And if we look at some stats around that, so 67% of falsely accused individuals in the UK report severe reputational harm. So everyone experiences some reputational harm, but this is severe reputational harm. And globally, 58% of falsely accused men face long-term stigma well after they've been cleared. I mean, think about it for a second. Let's take a celebrity. You see things in the news and, something happens and there's article after article and article about what they've done, how terrible they are. Then it turns out to be a false allegation. It's proven that it's false, maybe. You don't see millions and millions of articles retracting all of that stuff. They just kind of, okay, well, we've left it now. So all that's out there is all this terrible stuff, and there's no getting away from that. People jump to conclusions very quickly about, if a news article is published, people just jump to conclusions around it. So, that reputational harm is severe. So let's look at financial ruin. So legal defense costs are absolutely crippling. I mean, globally, it's around $75,000 to defend yourself against false allegations. In the UK, about £50,000 to £100,000 on average to defend yourself against false allegations. So when you look at the fact that people who are false accused often lose their jobs, they're ostracized, I mean, the financial strain is irreversible. They are damaged financially for life. Mental health is a very big one, obviously. I mean, being falsely accused, it's stressful. Depression ramps up, suicidal thoughts. I mean, 72% of people falsely accused report massive mental health struggles. And I can tell you from personal experience and from people I deal with, it's a lot higher than 72%. That's just the ones reporting. 12% of those attempt suicide, which is, it's horrific. There's already a suicide crisis, and this is just adding to it. So let's talk about kind of broader epidemic of false allegations in terms of some kind of stats from the UK and globally. So if you look at the UK, over 1,500 cases were flagged as malicious in 2022, but that is the ones that are flagged, and it's barely the ones that are touching the surface. So that number is much, much, much higher. But already, even if you ignore the fact that it's higher, that's 1,500 cases where someone has gone out to try and ruin someone, to cause damage to them. And the scary thing is, in those cases, the person making the accusations will not face any repercussions for doing so. Right. So from a global perspective, up to 10% of sexual assault allegations, hard to say, are proven false. But the impacts, the damage is already done. And again, those are the ones that you can prove easily, because sometimes it's very hard to disprove something. So let's talk about why men are always just presumed to be guilty, like social biases, media narratives, etc. So, movements like Me Too, they're good because they give real victims a spotlight, help promote real victims, help make them brave enough to come forward. But on the negative side of it, they also promote this guilty until proven innocent mindset. So if someone says, "Oh, me too, this happened to me," you automatically believe them, regardless of evidence or anything like that. And then we get into bias in legal system. So, you know, courts will always order the man be removed from the home. No matter what's going on, man could say he's being abused, he'll be the one removed from the home. Man can say he's being sexually assaulted, he's the one removed from the home. So, or arrested or taken away or whatever the case is, it's always the kind of the man that is the one affected. Um, so here's another stat for you: that 22% of family court cases involving abuse allegations are proven to be false later. Yet the initial rulings in those cases always favor the accuser. And again, I know that's the official stat. I can tell you that from personal experience and from what I know and the people I work with, that is way under. It's actually ludicrous how this guilty until proven innocent mindset has set in, particularly in the UK. I know in Australia it's bad, in the US it's bad. It's very much believe the victim, even though in a lot of these cases it's not a victim, it's the actual perpetrator just using false accusations as a weapon. So, yeah, what do we do? How do we balance justice and protect genuine victims? So, we need to make sure real victims are heard, real victims get fairness, but at the same time, we have to stop people weaponizing allegations. So, false claims are used; they're used strategically. Things like custody battles, divorce, financial things, they're used so strategically, so pushed on people to try and use these things for their advantage. There has to be some sort of penalty introduced for making false claims. If a claim is proven to be false, there must be a penalty involved. My personal, want would be that penalty is, if you accuse someone of something terrible, whatever uh, punishment they would face if they were found guilty, you should face that punishment, because that would be fair. But obviously, it'll never get to that point. But at least a fine, jail time, etc., something. Things have to be resorted back to being evidence based. You think about justice, you think about law, you think about courts. Growing up, you think evidence, facts. Things have to be based on that. It's not. It's about biases. It's about emotions. It's about stigmas. In the cases of high-profile people, it's about the court of public opinion. So there needs to be a lot of education around this, and there needs to be a lot of process changes around this to get things to be more evidentiary. So we need to get that systemic reform in for the legal system. We need to have fairness. We really need to protect genuine victims, but also protect people that are genuine victims of false allegations, because it's equally as terrible when someone is accused of something horrific that they didn't do, and they face financial ruin, hardships, lose their kids, lose their jobs, become suicidal. It's horrific. So things really need to be done. Um, you know, like I said at the beginning of this video, I've written this book, Nothing But the Truth: The False Allegation Crisis Crippling Men Today, as a resource to try and get out there to people so that they can understand what's happening, see real life stories from people that this has happened to. But, this conversation needs to spread far and wide globally, and get people understanding that just because something is said about someone doesn't make it so. Let's resort back to a fact of evidence. Innocent until proven guilty. Make sure everyone is safe, but at the moment it is completely the other way around. So what I'd like to do, guys, is I'll follow this video up with future videos around things like psychological toll of false allegations, mental health struggles, alienation, things like that. Please do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel, help share it around. Let's spread awareness. Grab a copy of my book if you want to. Check out my website, jaredwhittaker.com. There's loads of extra information on there. There's blog articles, there's links to my services, links to my other books. This is a conversation that really needs to be out there. Please share your thoughts as well. If you've got other thoughts around this topic, please share them. Let's hear what you have to say. Thanks, everyone.